Hey, coffee cuties. We are back with another banger. And today we are back with another reaction video where I give my raw and unfiltered opinion about viral topics surrounding coily natural hair. And today we definitely have a banger indeed because today we will be discussing businesses and the way the community, and particularly the Black community, reacts when a Black owned hair care brand, in this case, chooses to sell to bigger corporations in comparison to when white beauty brands of any sort, whether it's hair, whether it's makeup, and everything in between, chooses to sell to bigger corporations for more opportunities. We will be discussing the different reactions between communities and seeing why is it that when Black owned businesses choose to go after bigger opportunities, why are they often deemed as sellouts? Just, oh, your product, your integrity has changed. Oh, you're not down with the people no more. Just all the narratives that you see online when businesses sell. Today, we will be highlighting Mielle Organics, which, as you know, is a Black owned business. Well, formerly at this point, before they sold to PNG Beauty, which was owned by Monique Rodriquez, versus Road Beauty, which is a skincare line owned by Hailey Bieber, which is the wife of Justin Bieber, who recently sold the company after only 3 years for $1 billion. So we're going to do a deep dive on this topic. So first, I'm going to pull up the article that I originally saw rather. So it says difficult conversations, to women, to beauty brands, to very different reactions to selling their company to major corporations. So it says, as Hailey Bieber sold her skincare line Rhode, people celebrate her as a savvy businesswoman making boss moves. But when Monique Rodriguez sold Mielle Organics to Procter and Gamble, the reaction was very different. She faced backlash, accusations of selling out, and fears that the products would change. And honestly, some of these concerns turned out to be valid. Since the sale, many customers have complained about changes to the formula, saying it's causing breakage and damage to their hair. So while Monique publicly defended the deal by saying she's still the CEO and the quality remains, a lot of women feel like something shifted and not in a good way. Still, it's worth asking, why is it that when a white woman cashes out, it's called growth, but when a Black woman does it, it's called betrayal? There's a pattern of Black women being expected to hold the culture on their backs, even at the cost of wealth, expansion, or freedom. Meanwhile, white founders are allowed to build and sell without guilt or questions. So let's talk about it. So first, we're going to get into Hailey Bieber's post when she announced that she sold the company Rhode after only 3 years. So she said, I launched Rhode in 2022. I always had big dreams for the company, and the most important thing to me is to keep bringing Rhode to more spaces, places, and faces globally. So today, I am so incredibly excited and proud to announce that we are partnering with Elf Beauty as we step into the next chapter in the world of Rhode. I found a like minded distributor with a vision to be a different kind of company that believes in big ideals and innovations in the same way that I do, and will help us continue to grow the brand. I feel invigorated, excited, and more ready than ever to step into an even bigger role as Chief Creator Officer and Head of Innovations of Rhode, as well as strategic advisor to Elf Beauty. Thank you to the amazing Rhode team who have helped me build over the years. I couldn't have done it without you all. And to our Rhode community, thank you for being the most supportive and for being on this journey. This next chapter is going to be even more incredible together. As I've said, this is only the beginning. So that is again Hailey Bieber announcing the sale of the company, which she got a lot of support and encouragement from her community. So next, we're going to play a TikTok video that was sparked by this whole ordeal of her selling the company in comparison to the response that Black women primarily get when they decide to sell their company to bigger corporations as well. So let's see what your girl has to say and come back with more.
Okay, guys, so we have to address the elephant in the room because I keep seeing all the commentary around Hailey Bieber selling her brand for $1 billion after only having it for 3 years to Elf. And everyone is saying, why can't this happen for Black owned businesses? And again, the elephant in the room is we've seen some big acquisitions for Black-owned businesses over the last 2 or 3 years. Honey Pot, Mielle Organics. We've also seen the community threaten to leave the brand, not use the brand anymore. We've seen these founders, a lot of times it's Black women-owned businesses that go through this. I haven't seen this with a Black man-owned business, but they drag the businesses through the mud. They call them sellouts. Like, how do we get to the big acquisitions, or how do we position our brand? Okay, guys, so we have to address the elements for acquisitions that are huge like that, when the underlying question will be, will your community abandon you? Will your fan base abandon you if you sell to us? If we pay all this money for your brand, will your community still show up in support, or will they call you a sellout, and will they hop ship? And this is why we're not seeing the huge valuations that some of our counterparts is. And we have to fix this as a community. It's for
What are your thoughts about what your girl had to say? Do you agree or disagree? There's no right or wrong answer, so please leave it down below. But this actually did get a response from Monique Rodriquez herself, former owner of Mielle Organics. Also, now she's currently the CEO. So let's go ahead and see what she has to say. So she says, I couldn't have said it better myself. During the height of our negotiations, I was asked not once but twice, how is your community going to feel about this? I was asked this question during my deal with Berkshire and again when we partner with P&G. Let's be honest, I was asked this question because I'm Black. I'm confident Haley wasn't asked the same thing. I recently saw a comment that read, I wonder why Black people don't get these kinds of opportunities. The truth is, we do. But when we do, we're often labeled as sellouts or accused of abandoning our roots. I say this often as a community, we can't act. Why don't we get these opportunities and then tear down those who are actually paving the way when they do? What Haley Beaver did is celebrated, but when a Black founder makes a similar move, the narrative shifts and suddenly there's backlash. What many don't realize is that this criticism has a deeper consequence. It increases the perceived risk of investing in Black founders. It creates hesitation among investors who begin to fear that the very community those founders come from won't stand behind them. That fear alone can close doors for future Black entrepreneurs. If we truly want to see more opportunities for Black founders, we must also commit to supporting and uplifting them, especially when they take bold steps that mirror what others are praised for. Congrats to Haley Beaver for an awesome boss move. So, what are your opinions about what Monique Rodriguez, former owner and now CEO of Mielle Organics, had to say? So, in my personal opinion, I could definitely see the perspectives of this conversation. So, I want to start off by saying, for me personally, if I had a brand similar to Mielle Organics, Honey Pot, and everything in between, I would prefer to keep it as the owner myself to be able to pass it down to future generation to just have that legacy and Black wealth stay within the Black community. But I know that is my personal belief system. That is what moves me. But not everyone is created equal. And honestly, that is okay. But at the very least, I would prefer, if you're going to sell, to make sure that the product remains the same, because us as Black women, it's already so hard for us oftentimes to find products, whether that's makeup, hair products, and everything in between that really works for us, that's catering to us. And when we finally find one and then we're told that the company sold, or sometimes we're not even notified, we just start to notice changes and consistencies or just formula overall. Or some women were unfortunately faced with it even harsher than that, by realizing that their hair was allegedly falling out from the product. So that is when I have to say, absolutely not. I definitely will speak out against it 100% all the time. And in Mielle Organics case, that was the case. There were so many thousands of Black women. You can go on TikTok and view it, videos, and it wasn't just Black women, it was Afro Latina women, it was just I've seen Hispanic women. I even seen some white women coming forward saying that their hair was shedding after using the products. That is where you're definitely not going to get that support. But when it comes to some of the Black community's reaction when companies do sell, I could definitely see future investors, just to be quite frank, they probably will hesitate before they want to take ownership of a Black company, because Black people, they fall in love with not only the company, but they fall in love with the story of the owner and things like that. And it does turn a lot of people off. So that is the risk that the investors will have to juggle with and decide between. But the good news is that oftentimes these companies, if you have investors even looking at you in order to acquire your company, you're doing pretty well, most likely. So it's not as if you cannot sustain on your own. So maybe that will be the future of Black businesses, and that's okay. If we or another option would be for some people that are in higher position that acquire more wealth to come together, and we can basically create our own big corporation so that we can buy our own businesses without having to go to other people whatsoever. But let's see what a few people have to say. So it says, no, Mielle was sold and consumers were not notified of a formula change, as they always do when a white company buys a Black hair company. And nothing was said until the consumers started coming out and losing their hair. Then the owner tried to gaslight us and basically insult our intelligence instead of having decency and integrity with your customers. So someone else said, the proof is in the sink. No Mielle and no excessive shedding. Someone else said, the only difference is the support from the audience. People really need to take accountability. Give us the option to choose if we stay. If you sell your brand, just tell us, try to make sure the formula stays the same. Someone else said, oh, please. And then someone else said, Target gave countless Black owned businesses shelves to sell their items to people that can afford to buy them. Yet they pulled out of when Target dropped DEI practices, citing racism as the reason. Doesn't that make any effing sense? No. Now there's zero shelves and still boycotting Target. So that was definitely an interesting perspective. That is something that Tabitha Brown faced a lot of backlash on, because she was kind of like, hey, I understand this whole DEI thing is going on, but if you choose to pull out of Target and you choose to stop supporting these Black owned brands that Target are highlighting, then you're essentially affecting the Black owned brands as well. And a lot of people was like, hey, we don't care. We're standing up for a bigger cause. But some people did understand where she was coming from. Some people felt like she was being selfish and not thinking about Black community as a whole and only thinking about her business. Leave down below what you thought about all of that. Is, to me, I can see the different perspectives when it comes to it, but overall, again, we as Black people, we have the right to put our dollars where we choose to be, and we have the right to decide what is and what isn't acceptable when it comes to all of this. So if you feel like, hey, you sold your company to a white corporation, if that's it for you because you want to support Black owned businesses, that's okay. If it's like, hey, I'll still support you, but once I see formula change, that's it for me, that's okay as well. Or if it's like, again, a Tabitha Brown case, if you feel like, hey, I would support you, you're a Black owned business and things like that, but the company that you are holding your product at is not good for the overall community, then I cannot support that. You have that prerogative as well. So leave down below what you think about all this. Do you notice the differences between when a white beauty brand or just brand in general sells to a big corporation compared to when Black businesses do? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? As there's no right or wrong answer, so please leave them all down below. I'm very interested to know what you all think. Also, at the time of this recording, we're about 220 people away from the goal of 10K. At 10K, we will definitely be doing the giveaways, so continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell friends and tell other friends it's Liddy over here. So many more bangers to come. But this is the end of this video. So until next time, see ya.